Hello and welcome friends. So having learned the content of part 1 and part 2, you have developed basic background essential to be better learner. So in this part 3, we'll be discussing some more hints, tips to be better learner. In addition, we'll be discussing about creative use of metaphor and learning analogies. In addition, we'll be also dealing with some teamwork concepts and lastly, the most important content of this part of the presentation, which is preparing well on your examinations, that is nothing but test. I hope you will like the content and you will make use of this content for your building career. I wish you all the best.
So we are entering into a phase of unlocking your potential. We want to be better learner and hence we wish to renew. That is, we wish to have renewals of our learning process. So Dr. Terry has nicely explained how to be better learner. The first thing that he tells that how they exercise. So in addition to the neurons that are present at the time of the birth, new neurons are born every day. So one of such birthplaces is hippocampus, the way we discussed on the last slide. So it is the brain area that is very important for learning new things, and we have discussed that. New neurons help to learn new things, but if we don't use that new neurons, they will simply die. But research shows exercising helps new neurons to survive. The second thing is passing over certain critical periods. There are certain critical periods in the development of the brain. For example, our first language acquisition extends up to our, say, puberty, that is our adolescent stage. Whereas binocular depth perception, it is also called as stereopsis, matures during first 2 years. Prefrontal cortex in the brain is involved in the complex analysis in the social behaviors as well as even decision making and planning. When sudden improvement occur in specific abilities, expect them to happen and prepare your brain for them to accept. So what I mean is, in order to learn something, there is associated some time frame. There is a necessity to come over that particular, say, critical times. There could be need of some practice in order to correct the learning process as well as to train the brain. So, in order to have that particular reliance and to facilitate your unlocking, we can make use of some different concepts which are time as well as scientifically proven. So, there are certain important tips which are given through the course that I went through. Let's take a brief review related with that. Prior to that, let's have some of the things understood. That learning doesn't progress logically. It is not cyclic process. So to say, we cannot say that every day different quantum of the learning will be occurring. Sometimes it is quite probable that some learning will be facilitated. At some other instance, there could be some mental block, some concepts may not be understood. We have to revisit, we have to recheck and relearn. We have to sometimes undo learning and we have to enter into new learning. While doing that, we should not have that particular genius envy. It is quite probable that some inferiority complex could be developed. That at certain instance, just I was successful by chance. Just by luck, I could have that particular success, and now at some other step, I may be suffering from the failure. So this is kind of imposter syndrome, and everybody experiences that. But we should intentionally see that we should not be victim of that particular imposter syndrome. I hope you remember about the principle of serendipity. Here, we should keep on trying. And when we keep on trying, whenever one door closes, the other opens. So here, it's very easier to tackle with the problem that you are facing. You should not just stuck that particular door is closed, but you should wait calmly for other door to open. For that, you have to change your thoughts, and this will help to change your life. So here, it is quite probable that you could be among lot many brilliant people, but that their brilliancy could also be cursed by some of that particular carelessness. Here, someone who is average can also do the miracles through perseverance. You can approach the right material, you can design a right goal with your own, and this can give you unique path to mastery. See, you and me read the books. You and me are being taught by the teachers. You and me do have the friends. But the kind of the interaction that we do with each of that is different, because your own concept is different. Your own perception is different. Your own goal is different. And that's why having your unique approach to deal with will definitely lead you to follow that path to mastery. While doing this, one should say that be down to earth. See, there are people, and people are bound to say your success may be subject of some, say, to criticize something, someone may attempt to undermine any effort or achievement that you make, but you are gifted. Lady favor is with you. So, the kind of the talent you have, the kind of the junks that you have developed, you can access the same and you can help yourself to come out of it. Hence, don't forget to use your talisman. So, in order to have this particular renaissance, you can make use of different concepts. The first one is to create visual metaphor or certain analogy. You can make use of the teamwork. You can value that particular teamwork. In fact, you have to value that particular teamwork. And the one more important concept that I would like to discuss, especially with my students, because they are very much, they could be very much interested in knowing the scientific facts related with performing well on test. So each of these we'll be discussing with the subsequent slides. So the first thing is creating lively visual metaphor or analogy. So here this metaphor is just a way of realizing that one thing is somehow similar to other. So here this is one of the best things that you can do, not only to remember but to understand the concept, and is to create the metaphor or analogy for them. This metaphor or analogy, if it's visual, it would be more better. Can you remember your childhood? Your LKG teacher. She used to sing, she used to dance, she used to tell you something. So, the concept she was trying to teach you was expressed through lively visual metaphors as well as certain analogies. And hence, as you try to recall that particular childhood memories, definitely I am very sure that you will be able to recall a few of the things. You could be remembering your friend, still you will be able to recite certain poem. So this particular visual metaphor or analogy is very important technique. It is often helpful to understand the concept as well as to keep in long-term memory. Still better, you can make yourself part of that particular learning. You can pretend yourself that you are part of the equation you are trying to learn. You are putting yourself in that limit, 0 to infinity. You are trying to integrate yourself doubly. You are trying to sum up yourself. You are trying to deduct yourself somewhere. So, as you make part of that particular learning through yourself as a part of that particular concept, it helps you to understand the better. It also helps you to understand the central idea behind the process that is occurring. Say for example, if you consider certain cement manufacturing plant and there is huge demon who is eating lot many argillaceous and calcareous material. He is grinding through that particular teeth. He is transforming that particular bulk of the material into that powdery form. See what is happening now? Cement is being manufactured. So here, this is kind of, say, visual metaphor. Just we can extend that particular idea, and the whole understanding of the process associated with cement manufacturing can be easily understood. One more thing is, it helps to come out of that particular mental block that we discussed as Einstein. So here, the kind of the mindset that you have, which is blocking you to pitch the new ideas, can be easily broken, because you are trying to conceptualize the thing through your own ideas, and that ideas are such that are palatable with you, that are basic likings of you, and hence you can easily understand the things through these particular visual metaphors or analogies. Another important concept is of teamwork. Here, we'll just try to have the scientific background associated with learning, and again we'll switch over to the teamwork and its value. We have, or rather our brain has, left hemisphere and right hemisphere. The left hemisphere interprets the world for us and clings tenaciously to the way things were with rigidity, dogmatism, and egocentricity. So here we deal with the concept rigidly, and that is expression of hemisphere. So whenever we are trying to follow a certain route, and if your brain is saying that be on the left, keep the left, don't overtake, you are dealing with left hemisphere. Sometimes it is quite common that you have to come out of the routine that you learned, and you have to apply new ideas. It is vitally important in getting into some, say, new concepts. This thing is done through your right hemisphere. So, in order to have the interaction of this particular left hemisphere and right hemisphere, there is a necessity to step back and recheck. You have to consciously see what is being dictated through left hemisphere, why there is a need to attend the right hemisphere, how we can have the interaction between these particular hemispheres, and how we can have the advantage of the spatial perspectives and abilities to facilitate the learning process. Let's switch over to the concept of this particular teamwork. There could be certain false feeling about the things that we have done are intellectually done. But sometimes, because of that overlearning, illusion of competence, Einstein, and the lack of interleaving, we may develop some kind of the blind spots. And that blind spots are not seen by us. But if you are working with your colleagues, if you are working with your peers, if you are working with your friends, it is quite probable that whatever that you have missed can be easily seen. You can understand and hence you can rework on that. It is quite probable that over the team, when you try to discuss something, you try to make understand someone, say you are trying to teach some concept to your friend. So at that time, your that particular say neural pattern, whatever that particular brain pattern was created, it would be becoming darkening and you will get altogether different understanding of the concept while teaching that to your friend. It is not only important to understand that kind of the concept, but it is definitely important in your career building also. And that's why here the teamwork is very much important for lot many things to have the growth occurring, to facilitate the success and lot many such associations. We can think about some do's and don'ts related with this particular concept. Don't turn study sessions into socializing occasions. See here, we are coming together. We are trying to have certain study sessions. We expect that there has to be interaction. But if we sidetrack the topic to learn and if we keep on speaking related with some socialized discussions, it would be meaningless. It would be as if you are wasting time. Here, we should respect all our team members. So, as we try to be punctual, it is as if we are honoring, we are respecting our teammates. Hence, the punctuality as well as maintaining the track of the discussion is very much important. It is quite probable that someone might not have prepared to the required extent, but one should say that the reading the material prior to having the effective discussions is must. Now here just we try to think about rigidity associated with the left hemisphere as well as ability of the right hemisphere to enter into new things. See, here I have provided few text blocks as you see. In fact, each of the text blocks has same font and same font size. But as you see, here this appears to be very different from each other. This could be occurring because of the rigidity associated with this left hemisphere. So, we are entering into very important step as far as students are concerned. For students, according to the present teaching scheme, giving the test and performing well is must. In fact, testing itself is extraordinarily powerful learning experience. So my dear friends, all the concepts that we are trying to discuss are helpful for making our learning better. The concepts that we discussed, like overlearning, diminishing returns, illusion of competence, deliberate practice, Einstein, interleaving, are of course basis for performing well for your test. But in addition, here we can have some of the helpful hints for the test. For some people, giving test and also preparing for the test could be very painful exercise. See, whenever we are stressed, our body is stressed, our brain is stressed, certain chemicals such as cortisol are secreted in our body. And this causes sweaty palms. Our heart starts racing. We feel a knot in our stomach. But let's listen to the researchers. See, if you respond to this particular happening properly, you will be very different test taker. So, we'll be discussing some of the hints in depth subsequently. One of the things is, you must be knowing that all the surgeons or fighter pilots, they follow certain checklist that could be routine for them, but prior to surgery, prior to takeoff, they simply don't rely on a particular process. Here comes the concept of the overlearning. I hope you remember about the automaticity. If you are nervous, you won't be able to switch over the things promptly. And that's why here you need that particular automaticity. That's why you need that particular, say, overlearning as such. But as you try to have certain checklist, it will help you to improve your preparation, and hence it will enhance the chances of your success. One of the techniques is hard start and jump to easy is also very important thing. This also helps to avoid that particular Einstein, that is getting stuck on the wrong approach, because you have chance to look at the problem from different perspectives. We'll have further discussion related with these particular concepts as we move ahead. So the first thing was checklist. Here, one has to take into account the contribution made by Dr. Feldar and Dr. Brett. Dr. Feldar has created a certain checklist for engineering stream, but it is helpful for all the disciplines. As we go through these particular questions, you will understand on your own that somehow you have to reach at such a stage that you will be able to answer yes, big S for each of such questions. I will read out each of the questions and we'll have small discussion with each of that particular concept. So the first thing is, did you make serious effort to understand the text? See, when we try to read something, and if we are just going through, hunting through the relevant worked out examples. It won't help us to understand and hence learn the things. It would be helping us to build up that particular chunks and having that particular neural patterns transformed into darker firm so as to attach that with the long-term memory, which would be further accessible as and when required through short-term memory. It is necessary to work with your classmates. It is necessary to attempt the outline every homework problem solution before working with classmates. There is a necessity to participate actively in homework group discussions and even to contribute the ideas as you learn earlier, as you express yourself. Your chunks will be getting rearranged, they will be getting associated with each other, and they will be giving you altogether different solutions. And hence, contributing the ideas and asking the questions is also important. The first mentor that you have is your instructor. Hence, whenever you come across the difficulty, you consult your instructor, you consult the teaching assistant. Understand all your homework problem solutions when they were handed to you. Ask in class explanation of the homework problem solution that are not clear to you. If you have the guide, go carefully through before the test and convince yourself that you will be able to do everything on it. Say that you will be attempting outline lots of the problem solutions quickly without spending time on algebra and calculations. See, these particular questions could be creating some confusion, you, my students, being engineering students. Of course, we are more bothered with that particular algebra and calculations, but the algebra and calculations are repetitive. Here we are trying to concentrate more on the concept. So better you understand that particular concept. That's why Dr. Felder uses these different questions, different approaches, different solutions at different times. It is necessity to spend more time on that. As we try to learn these particular things, how that expressed in form of quiz with lot many your peer students. If there are certain review sessions before the test, you attend it, you ask the questions, and whatever you are not sure about, make it try to clear. And very similar to the concept of exercise, much more concept and very important concept is of getting reasonable night sleep. See, Dr. Felder says, if you don't get a reasonable night sleep, whatever you did earlier over all these particular efforts are meaningless. Your answer to all these particular preceding questions may not matter at all. So, you have to have reasonable night sleeps. The second concept is how hard start and jump to easy. The phrase could be confusing, and the background sentence, if you have prepared well for a test, then how hard start and jump to easy, could further be confusing. Let's try to understand what is the meaning associated with these particular terms. Usually what happens is, whenever we are in test, whenever we are giving the test, we try to deal with certain easiest problems first. That is bit natural because we wish to tackle with the time. We wish to build our confidence. And first of all, we wish to remove that particular knot that is playing in our stomach. We wish to just get washed with the sweetie palms and such things. And that's why we try to deal with the easiest things. But some things are scientifically proven related with that. So, dealing with the easiest thing could be productive for someone, but it could be more counterproductive for someone. So, what to do? Whether to deal with the easy questions first or hard questions first? Okay. Let's do first thing first. Whenever you are provided with, say, question paper, whenever you are provided with certain exercise to do, have a quick look, go through, have the broad idea, what does it involve? You have to do this. You have to understand, you have to create the big picture associated with a problem that you are trying to tell. Then start working with the problem. As you find some hardest questions, deal with that first. But as you start attempting that, as you start solving that, and somehow you are getting stuck, at the very moment, pull yourself away from that particular problem and switch over to another simple problem. So, here starting hard and switching attention away from that attempt will allow your diffused mode to begin its work. So you will be focusing on some question, but in the background, the brain will be working on diffused mode and it will be trying to give you some solution associated with that. Okay? It is just a fun, it is acronym that I have created just to attach to HSJ2E. Okay? So brain uses its different parts to work simultaneously on different thoughts. It guarantees that you will have at least little work done on every problem. It will even help you to avoid that Einstein getting stuck on the rock approach because you have a chance to look at the problem from differing perspectives. Okay? Here, I hope you have understood the concept of hard start and jump to easy. Here is little bit trick. You are trying to attempt hard problem first. As you start attempting and if you are stuck, it is the moment that you should pull yourself away and switch over to another problem. See, this task is not very easy for all the people. It takes disciplined and even it attracts your willpower. You even could feel that is this HSJ2E concept applicable for me? You may have some such doubt. But see, this is scientifically proven thing. But if you have still doubt in your mind, why don't you work this first on your homework. You will understand yourself whether this particular technique is useful to you. Then you can attempt this as you give your test. So the third part was having certain additional hints for the test. I hope you remember about that. That when you are not comfortable, when you are in stress, you are not in a position to give the designated output. Here, you should interpret properly to that particular reaction so that all the things, all the odds will be transformed into the evens. So, it is as if shifting your thinking from this test has made me afraid to this test has given me opportunity, has excited me to do my best. It will improve your performance. Even breathing, deep breathing is very helpful exercise. Of course, you can properly learn the deep breathing. In India and even of course universally, there are lot many breathing techniques more popularly expressed as pranayama. So there are lot many pranayama techniques which will help you to have that. But while giving the test, you can just relax your stomach, place your hands on it, slowly draw a deep breath, and accordingly this will help you to calm you down. In addition, let's try to listen to the best tips that are given by the top professors around the world. Dr. Susan Sajana-Hubbard, a professor of the psychology at the Lakehead University, tells the students to cover up the answers to multiple choice questions and try to recall the information. That is, whenever there are MCQs, cover the solutions and try to recall the answers on your own so that you will be taking advantage of your recall technique, chunking and associating left hemisphere, right hemisphere to work and hence to provide the better solutions. Tracy McGrane is a professor of biological sciences. She is emphasizing on facing the fears. The worst fear is not to get the grade you need for your chosen career. So here there is a necessity to deal with your fears. As you keep your plan B for alternative career, you won't be just remaining stuck in that realms of fears. So here once you have the plan for worst possible contingency, you will be surprised that fear will begin to subside. Study hard up until the day of the test and then let it go. Tell yourself, oh well, let me just see how many questions I can get right. I can always pursue my other career choice. So this kind of the confidence helps release the stress. And as you release the stress, you will be able to give your better performance. Professor Bradshaw emphasized that good worry helps provide motivation and focus, while bad worry simply wastes the energy. See what happens if you have prepared well. Now your mind would be working further. You wish to give still further, still better performance, and it creates good worries. And that's why you are motivated, you are encouraged to do and give better. But say, if somehow you have developed your complex, if you haven't prepared to the required extent, of course, you'll have the bad worry. And in a given time frame, you may not be able to prepare to the required extent. So, bad worry created in this particular situation will simply be waste of your energy. So here are some final thoughts. The day before a test, have a quick final look over the material to brush up on them. You will need both focus mode and diffuse mode of muscles, so to speak, the next day. Don't feel guilty if you can't seem to get yourself to work too hard the day before a big examination. If you prepare properly, this seems to be natural reaction, almost as if you are subconsciously pulling back to conserve mental energy. While taking a test, whenever possible, you should blink, shift your attention, and then double check your answers using a big picture perspective, asking yourself, does this really make sense? There is often more than one way to answer a question, and checking your answers from different perspectives, providing a golden opportunity for verifying what you have done. If there is no other way to check except to step back through your logic, keep in mind that simple issues have tripped up even the most advanced students. Just do your best. The order in which you work test is also important. Students generally work test from front to back, usually. When you are checking your work, if you start more towards the back, you start, say, moving from the back and work towards the front, it sometimes seems to give your brain fresher perspective that can allow you to more easily catch the errors. Occasionally, you can study hard and test gods simply don't cooperate. But if you prepare well by practicing and building strong mental library and you approach test taking wisely, you will find that luck will be increasingly on your side.
Hello friends, I hope you liked the tips that were presented for being better learner in this presentation. I also hope that you will be using metaphor as well as analogy techniques and you will improve your learning strategies. We engineering students always believe in teamwork and bound to perform well on all fronts. Here, the tips associated with the value of the teamwork will be very helpful to you, not only for learning the contents, as well as not only simply performing and preparing well for your examinations, but also while dealing with real field scale problems. We must thank Dr. Richard and Dr. Rebecca the kind of tips they have given. Please make use of the techniques they have suggested and please proceed with part 4 of this presentation, where you will learn 10 rules of studying. I wish you all the best.